أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. My name is Hamid and I am a foundation level student at Ram School Islamabad campus. Today my topic is Maya. Let's start. Uh, Hello Maya, can you
Hey,
hear me?
how's it going?
My first question is what does the word she mean in human communication?
Usually, she is just a pronoun used to refer to a woman, girl, or female animal. But depending on how it's used, it can be a way of identifying someone specific in a story, or even a way to personify something, like when people call their car or a ship she. Were you thinking of it in a specific context or just the general usage?
Okay, my next question is where do people use she to ask of for silence?
In that case, you're talking about a specific person. She is just the way you identify the woman or girl who was the one asking for silence. Are you thinking of a specific story or someone you know, or just wondering how the sentence is put together?
Okay, my next question is how did the sound sha originate in language?
If you're talking about sounds like shh to ask for silence, those are usually onomatopoeic. They aren't words that evolved from a root language. They're more um, like a imitation of a sound. The sound actually mimics a soft rushing noise that naturally masks other sounds and signals someone to lower their volume. Do you think sounds like that are more effective than actually saying be quiet?
Okay, my next question is uh, ho- in what situation is chef most
I'm
commonly
listening.
used?
I'm not quite sure I follow. Are you asking if birds make a certain sound or if people use a specific word when they're talking about birds? Could you tell me a bit more?
Okay, what is silence important in communication?
Silence can be a powerful tool. Sometimes it gives people space to process what was just said, and other times, or even intimacy. In some cultures, silence is actually seen as a sign of wisdom or authority. Do you feel like silence usually makes a conversation more comfortable, or does it make it feel
Okay, my
awkward for
next
you?
question is can she be considered a non-verbal comment?
The word she itself is verbal because it's a word. But if you're talking about the way someone says it, like a specific tone, a look, or a gesture while saying it, that's where the nonverbal part comes in.
Okay, my next question
A woman
is
instead of saying her
continue,
name.
continue.
I'm ready. Go ahead.
My next question is how do children learn and mini option?
Children usually learn through a mix of imitation and trial and error. They watch how the adults and peers around them act and speak, then they try to copy it to see if they get the same result. It's kind of like a giant social experiment for them. Were you thinking about how they learn language specifically, or more like how they pick up on social
Okay,
behaviors?
my next question is what emotions are connected with Shah?
That depends on what we're talking about. Emotions can be connected to almost anything, a specific word, a memory, or even a certain sound. What were you thinking of specifically?
Okay, my next question is does Shah always mean silence or can it have other meaning?
Usually, when people say shh, they mean silence. But sha can be different depending on the language. For example, in some contexts or languages, it might be part of a word or a name. If you're talking about the sound used to quiet someone, then yeah, that's pretty much its only job. Do you know of a time I'm starting to wonder if you've gone back for more water? You still
Okay.
there?
Okay, my next question is how has Shah evolved over time?
Let me look into that. It's actually more of a sound imitation than a word that evolved through a long history. It likely came from words like hush or shush, with hush being around since the mid 1500s. The shush sound is a sibilant, basically a high pitched hiss, which is why it's so effective at grabbing someone's attention or cutting through noise to ask for silence. It's almost like a universal human reflex rather than a formal piece of language. Does that make sense? Or were you thinking of sha as a word in a different language?
Okay, my next question is what role does culture play in using Shah?
Culture plays a huge role in how we communicate. Some cultures are very direct, while others rely more on subtle cues, like a certain look or a long pause, to get a point across. Even something as simple as silence can be seen as a sign of respect in one place, but as a sign of rudeness or tension in another. Are you wondering about a specific culture or just how it works in general?
Okay, is Shah polite or rude depending on context?
It really depends on the context and who you're talking to. If you're trying to quiet a baby or a friend in a movie theater, it's usually just a practical tool. But if you use it to cut someone off while they're speaking, it can come across as pretty rude or dismissive. It's all about the power dynamic. Someone in authority might use it to maintain order, but if a peer does it, it can feel like they're trying to shut you down. Do you think it feels more like a helpful signal or a command?
Okay, my next question is how do parents use Shah with children?
Parents usually use it as a quick way to manage behavior, like when they're trying to keep a child calm or get them to listen in a quiet place. It's often more of a signal than a conversation. Sometimes it's gentle, like a shh, while rocking a baby to sleep, and other times it's more of a firm shush when a kid is getting too loud. Do you think that's an effective way for parents to teach kids about boundaries, or is it too abrupt?
Continue, Maya.
I'm on it. what? What else is on your mind? Or are you looking for more thoughts on how parents and kids communicate?
Okay, my next question is why is silence powerful in human interaction?
Silence is powerful because it forces a shift in energy. When someone eventually feels the need to fill, which can make the other person reveal more than they intended or feel the weight of what was just said. It can also be a way of showing deep empathy. Sometimes just being there in silence says more than any, I'm sorry, ever hear what's being felt.
My network is issue. My marriage is not continue and again strong.
Hey,
Hello,
you back already?
my question is chef. Sorry,
Wait, in shape? Like
but
fitness, or are you talking about the shape of
what
something
can
specific?
chef stop conflict in conversations?
Honestly, sometimes just a well-timed pause. Giving things a second to breathe usually stops the spiral before it starts. Do you find that works for you, or do you usually have to say something specific to kill the tension?
Okay, my next question is how does body language for sports?
Hmm, that's an interesting one. In sports, body language is basically its own language. It's all about dominance and confidence. Think about a player staring down an opponent or a coach's posture on the sidelines. It tells the other team exactly how they're feeling before a word is even spoken. Are you thinking about how it affects the athlete's performance or more how the crowd reads it?
Okay, my next question is what are alternatives to saying?
Alternatives to saying what? You cut off there.
Okay, my next question is what is
I'm listening.
alternatives to saying?
I'm a bit lost. Alternative to what? You mentioned alternatives to saying something a second ago, but we didn't get to the actual word. What are the two things you're comparing?
Okay, my next question is how is Shah used in libraries?
That's a bit of a shift. If you mean sharing in a library, it's basically the whole point of the place, sharing knowledge and resources with the whole community. So not everyone has to buy their own copy of a book. Or are you asking if share is a specific term used in library systems or archives?
Okay, my next question is what is human prefer silence in some in situations?
I think it's usually because words can actually get in the way. Like when you're with someone you're really close to, you don't always need to fill the space. Or in heavy moments like grief or total awe, words can feel too small or just plain clumsy. Do you prefer the silence in those moments, or does it ever feel awkward to you?
Okay, my next question
I think
is
it's often about safety or
my
control.
next question is what
Go for it. What's
biological
up?
effect does Shah have?
I'm not sure I follow. When you say she, are you talking about a specific person, or are you still thinking about she as a word or a sound in communication? Give me a bit more context so I'm not just guessing.
Okay, my next question is how do different language express silence?
It's wild how different it is. In some cultures, like in Japan, silence is seen as a sign of respect or deep thought. It's almost a part of the conversation. But in a lot of Western cultures, silence is often seen as dead air or awkward, so people rush to fill it. Some languages even have specific words for different types of silence. Do you think silence feels more like a conversation or a gap to you?
Okay, my next question is how do different language express silence?
We actually just touched on that, but to dive deeper, some languages use fillers to show they're still listening without actually speaking, while others use complete silence to show agreement or authority. It's less about the words and more about the cultural rule book for when to be quiet. Do you think some languages make silence feel more natural than others?
Okay, my next question is Shah effective in controlling noise?
What is? You missed the subject of the sentence. Are you asking if silence is effective or maybe a specific sound or tool? You still thinking about it or are we moving on to something else?
Okay, my next question is how do teachers use chat in classrooms?
I'm guessing you mean checking in with students. Usually it's a quick way to gauge the room. Some teachers do a thumbs up, thumbs down to see if everyone understands, or they'll just circulate and ask a few specific questions to see who's struggling before they move on to the next topic. Are you thinking about it as a way to manage the class or more as a way to I'm not sure I follow. Was that a reaction to something we were talking about? Or are you starting a new topic?
Okay, my next question is can chat be
Is
used
it the
in
question?
emergency situations?
In an emergency, everything changes. Communication usually becomes very direct, short, loud commands, and almost no filler words. People stop being polite and start being efficient because every second counts. Are you asking about how people communicate in those moments or how to handle a specific kind of emergency?
Okay, my next question is what is the emotional tone of chat?
The emotional tone of what? You stopped right before the good part.
Okay, my next question is how do tone of voice change and meaning of chat?
I'm not familiar with the word shocked. Is that a specific term from a language you're studying or maybe a sound? You tell me what it means or where it's from. I can definitely tell you how changing the tone would flip the meaning.
Okay, my next question is why do movies use scenes?
Movies use scenes to break a story into manageable chunks. Instead of just one long stream, scenes let the director jump between different locations or time periods to build tension or show how a character is changing. It's basically how they control the pace, like how a fast paced action scene feels completely different from a quiet, slow conversation. Are you thinking about a specific movie that does this well?
Okay, my next question is
Take your
why do
time. What's
movies?
on your mind?
Sorry, how does silence improve focus?
First off, I don't really say sorry unless I've actually messed up a fact. So if I sounded like I was apologizing, it might have just been me trying to clarify. As for focus, silence basically stops your brain from having to filter out noise in the background. When it's quiet, your brain can put all its energy into one single task instead of constantly scanning the room for distractions. It's like clearing all the tabs on a computer so the one program you're actually using runs faster. Do you find you need total silence to focus, or do you prefer some kind of background noise?
Okay, my next question is chess
All
learning
you.
learned or instinctive behavior?
Ready when you are.
You continue.
Continue with what? Your list of questions, or were you thinking about a specific topic we were just
Okay, my
discussing?
question is what happiness when chess is ignored?
I think you're asking what happens to happiness when someone is ignored, right? Honestly, it's a pretty heavy feeling. When you reach out, like with a greeting or a smile, and get nothing back, it usually triggers a feeling of rejection. It can make a person feel invisible or unimportant, which quickly kills any positive mood they had. It's a sharp drop from feeling connected to feeling isolated. Do you think it's worse to be ignored by a stranger or by someone you actually care about?
Okay, my the last advice to my viewers.
I'm not sure I follow. Are you asking if you should give your viewers some final advice? You mentioned earlier that you wanted to give some advice to whoever is watching or listening. If you've got a closing thought for them, now's a good time to share it. What were you planning to tell them?
Okay, Maya, thank you so much.
You're very
So ये मैं आज की माया उम्मीद करता हूँ आपको पसंद आएगा। मिलते हैं अगली माया के साथ, तब तक के लिए अल्लाह हाफिज। पाकिस्तान जिंदाबाद, रियान स्कूल जिंदाबाद।